Well, I think that Agenda 111, as you would I think, is a very noble idea. But I think that what is noble and what is feasible are two different things, okay? In our homes, we all think about plans, but at the end of the day, we do reality check, and the reality check seems to tell us as to what to do. In as much as I think it's a noble idea, I think that we do not have the finances to look at Agenda 111 in its totality. And even if we had the finances, the question would be, is it useful? I don't think that at the moment we need all that, because, so let's look at you wanting to build a regional hospital in a new region, which region probably used to be a district and already has a district hospital. And at the moment it is a region at the same time. So what is going to happen? We're going to have a regional hospital and a district hospital located in what? A short distance. But the key question is going to be, who is even going to man these hospitals? We don't have the capacity. Look, we've had several of these hospitals around, and we've not been able to have people to man them and help them operate efficiently. So why are we going to do all these things? Yes, I agree in a few places, for instance, a place like Takoradi, especially in the Western region as a whole, we need some sort of, we need to be able to beef up infrastructure. But I think that this wholesale 111 is not needed. And the amount of money that is needed to do this, I believe that that money can be invested into the NHIS to restructure it and make sure that people can have access to service. Else, what is going to happen is that we would have buildings all over the place, which at the end of the day do not actually provide services. But what the citizenry is interested in is having access to services and having access to the right caliber. If you have a regional hospital, you need to have a certain caliber of staff. We don't have most of these people in Ghana. Even in the existing facilities, we don't have. So maybe what is important is probably expanding the existing facilities, training a lot more people, and rolling this out in some sort of a gradual approach, concentrating on those that we need for now, and not the way we are currently thinking about this. So if I have to summarize this, what I would say is that, for me, if there is any reform that must happen in the health sector, it's got to be the NHIS. And if it is the NHIS, one is about the financing source. Okay. That is very, very important. Already, our investment in health is below what is expected, because per the Abuja Declaration, we are supposed to do about 15% minimum. Okay, we are doing just about 8.6. Again, if you look at GOG investment, is actually what going down. Now, what is trending up is out-of-pocket payment, which comes from private pocket. So it means that equity is going to be a problem because private payment is actually going up. So all the indicators tend to tell us that our attention should be on restructuring the NHIS, and the first thing is about how do we find the extra resources into the NHIS, because once you address that, you can then address issues of efficiency, especially when it comes to provider inefficiency. Because you see, if you have enough money in the NHIS, we can even go to the extent of saying that let all the government hospitals begin to provide services and pay for themselves, so that we can address the inefficiency issues. But once we can't do that, then that will continue to be a problem. So one is addressing the financing issue. Number two, putting the right structures in place to make sure that the NHIS itself is what? Accountable. Because the NHIS as it is right now seems to be too powerful, and we need to find ways to make sure that NHIS is accountable, and we can find ways to reduce the inefficiencies within the NHIS. Number three is to make sure that we can find a way to integrate preventive care into the NHIS package of services, funded by the state through taxes. Because, look, there is no free lunch anywhere. So if the NHIS is supposed to do this for all of us to have access to healthcare, we all have to pay. That we've got to agree and then pay for that. I don't subscribe to people paying premiums that is market rated, because that is going to be counterproductive to poor people. So I would prefer a tax system to do that. And then the last one, we then need to then look at the production centers. because a lot of the inefficiencies are within the production centers. And the production centers have oftentimes argued that they have become inefficient because of the inefficiency of the financing center. So I would imagine that if we address that, we'll take some of the inefficiencies and use that as some sort of incentive to drive reforms in the production centers and bring the cost of healthcare down. So for me, within the next 4 years, we don't have to bite a lot. We should just look at these 4 things to address. Thank you very much.